be that person who can be a leader and create a culture that can support other people. Don't be afraid to be that person. My name is Yeshua Carter. I work at EY, and I'm a co-founder and creator of an intervention early prevention program called EY Outreach that works with marginalized young people who are in young offenders institutes, pupil referral units. And ultimately, our aim is to use creativity as a key tool to help this assistance and reintegration back into mainstream school or general educational training. At the age of 17, 18, I actually kind of did an unorthodox thing. I actually picked up an extra year of college. So I was literally oldest in college at the time. And I guess I would say I was a type of young person who was kind of navigating my future, trying to break a mold. So I was around friends who were involved in criminal behavior. But then I was also around some friends who had very entrepreneurial and positive mindsets. So I was kind of the one in the middle thinking, how can I navigate? Shall I fall to the left or shall I fall to the right? So at that age, I was really just trying to think, okay, well, obviously I don't know what my future entails. I'm extremely creative. The reason I did an extra year in college actually is because I picked up English language and literature A-level, which was a 2-year course, alongside my creative writing A-level, drama A-level, music technology, and all these different creative qualifications. So I was trying to think at the age of 17 and 18, what can I do with these qualifications to ensure that I can kind of continue in the steps of creativity? Because you could tell in a day and age like this, it's very hard for young people to utilize their creativity. I wanted to become an actor, and it's very hard to get into that type of occupation. So yeah, I would definitely say I was navigating my future. I was thinking, shall I use my creativity for negative exploits? Or if I do put it towards positive exploits, will I be able to do what I would like to do, acting, music? I would say I was very inquisitive and trying to find out what I can do. But thankfully, kind of moving to the ages of 19, I was very faith-based as well. So I started to just pray and ask God, how can I utilize my creative skill set for positive endeavors? And then I started to create dramas. I did a tour around the UK doing different dramas and stuff like that, and put together classes for young people who also like drama. So that kind of started off my creative career, I should say. So I would say, I guess one major thing was the lack of guidance. So there wasn't a lot of role models to kind of show them how to utilize their amazing abilities. And I say that in a trivial way. When I recognized that a lot of them that was immersed in crime. For example, I'll give you a quick little story. At the age of 15, one of my friends came into school with a bag of cash, and there was ink all over it, poured it into the sink. And in the morning of that day, one of the transit drivers with a pistol, and this was at the age of 15. Now, back then, I realized that, well, it was kind of like a normality for me, but reflecting now, I realized that he had a lot of planning skills, he had a lot of creative skills to put together something like that, but there wasn't role models in place to tell them, wow, look how you've got these skills. As long as you can translate it into a positive way, you can do something so much better. And I think that's what they lacked. They had more negative role models who would bring them into, as I said, criminal endeavors. And that's the saddest thing about it at that time. So that's why I wanted to create a positive platform that can redeem young people to not vilify their skills, but to teach them how to use it in an alternate way. I would definitely say to that young person, never limit yourself. You navigate where you go. You are your own limit. And I applied that to myself when I was at that age. I realized that I could have picked up a mentality to say, well, these places are above and beyond me. And I could have limited myself, whereas I thought, you know what, I feel as though I can provide a service that other people can't. I can bring that innovative mindset of Yeshua Carter and be able to help be an asset and transform their company. And that was my mentality. I stepped in thinking, you know what, I have something that I can offer. And that is the mentality that, you know, people who feel relegated, people who feel as though they can't get into certain positions because of their, you know, ethnic background or because of their qualifications, just know that your uniqueness in itself, as long as you know that you are an asset and you can help transform these companies, continue to push forwards and do not limit yourself. And with that mentality, I was actually able to win 2019 BPP, which was the university attending apprenticeship, apprentice champion of the year on a national scale, because of that mentality that I carried. So yeah, that's what helped push me through, as well as my faith. It just pushed me through. Wow, one major thing I always say, and it's controversial, but it's effective. And I would say always prioritize working purposefully over money. And it's a very hard thing to say to a lot of young people who, you know, crave finances. But one thing that I've recognized is when you're able to work purposefully and with your work, it starts to impact other people's lives. That's when the finances start to come. That's when people start to invest into your own ideas. And I use that as an example. I feel as though like EY Outreach and the work that I did exemplifies that, because again, I was working sometimes from 9 to 11 p.m. and I still do that, doing extra hours on EY Outreach, not getting paid extra for it. But knowing that the programs that I create will change young people's lives. And with that, you know, the head of the LPS sector, they saw the initiative, they heard about it, and they started to invest into it now to the point where they're funding it. And so when you're purpose driven, money comes. So that's one thing I would always say. Find something that you know can support other people. That's why I love the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and I love young people who are entrepreneurial but allow that to be their ethos, is to support, you know, other people, like poverty, sustainable energy. It's all about purpose-driven work. So that's one thing. A second thing I would say is don't, I kind of said it already, but don't underestimate your potential. And what I mean by that is you have, as a young person, you have an array of knowledge, you have a skill set, you have an energy that a lot of other people don't have. So don't underestimate your potential when you go into big places like EY, or you're trying to go into places that feel that, you know, you can't bring your best you or your authentic self. Say to yourself, you know what, actually, as I said, I'm an asset and I can do something to kind of transform this company. So don't underestimate your potential. There's a lot of things, for example, okay, let's sticking it to like things like crime or things where you feel limited. Don't be afraid to stand up and be a leader. Don't feel influenced to have to engage in things that you know is not purposeful, that is not positive, and be that person who can be a leader and create a culture of inclusivity, create a culture of positivity, create a culture that can support other people. And don't be afraid to be that person who will get ridiculed at times because you might be different, you know, you might be set apart. Just ensure that you stay true to yourself, integral, authentic, and have faith in that positive idea or that future aspiration, and continue to climb to it, even if it's not what other people deem as, you know, normal or accessible. Drive and create your own route for your future.